Freshly minted Jeopardy! Host Mike Richards apologized Wednesday evening for sexist comments he made years ago on a podcast. Richards, who hosted the Randumb Show podcast from 2013 to 2014, said in statement that the podcast was intended to be a series of irreverent conversations between longtime friends who had a history of joking around. Even with the passage of time, it's more than clear that my attempts to be funny and provocative were not acceptable, and I have removed the episodes, he said in a statement. My responsibilities today as a father, husband, and a public personality who speaks to many people through my role on television means I have substantial and serious obligations as a role model, and I intend to live up to them. Online media outlet The Ringer reviewed all 41 episodes of the Randumb Show podcast, which were reportedly laden with sexist comments about women's bodies and clothing, before the recordings were pulled offline Tuesday. NBC News has not listened to the original recordings. Richards said it was humbling to confront a terribly embarrassing moment of misjudgment, thoughtlessness, and insensitivity from nearly a decade ago. Looking back now, there is no excuse, of course, for the comments I made on this podcast, and I am deeply sorry. The podcast also featured Richards' former assistant Beth Triffin and occasionally Jen Disgrove, the podcast's producer and Richards' assistant at the time. It was marketed as an inside look at The Price is Right and Let's Make a Deal, both of which he was an executive producer. The Ringer characterized the podcast as freewheeling, skipping between pop culture news, upcoming TV lineups, and the latest goings-on at Price. Many have a gossipy edge, with Richards displaying a tendency to turn bawdy and sometimes vulgar. In one example from September 4, 2014, following the iCloud photo hack of numerous female celebrities, Richards reportedly asked his assistant and co-host if they'd ever taken nude photos. When his co-host said that she had sometimes taken photos of herself when she thought she looked cute, Richards responded, "Like booby pictures. What are we looking at?" The Ringer reported.
Later, he asked to go through her phone. When she declined to share an image with him, he asked whether it was of boobies. In a later episode, according to the outlet, Richards said one-piece bathing suits made women look frumpy and overweight. At other times, he mocked Triffin's appearance and called her a derogatory term for little people, a word that he also uses to describe the actress Kristen Chenoweth, The Ringer reported, adding he also made disparaging comments about Triffin's economic status. At one point, Triffin explained she qualified for $389 per week in unemployment benefits after losing her job. The dangerous side about the crack that you just took is that not everyone is like you. But everyone can collect unemployment, which is why we have so many people on unemployment right now. Which is why we have so many people on food stamps. Because what if you got unemployment and food stamps? You'd be like, good lord, I'm making. You know what I'm saying? Richards reportedly told her. Do you feel dirty? Seriously, and I'm not trying to be mean. Do you feel a little dirty? 2 months later, according to The Ringer, Triffin said in a different show that she'd given $1 to an unhoused woman and they had the following exchange. Richards, oh my god. You're perpetuating the circle. If you gave away money that was given to you by the government, that's the circle of no life. Triffin, no, Mike, it was just $1. Richards, that's the sound of America going down the toilet. Triffin, I thought that she needed it. Richards, she didn't even ask you for it. Triffin, so she could get some coffee or some food. Richards, or some crack. Or some meth. Richards, who was named the new Jeopardy! Host earlier this month, was previously involved in 2 discrimination lawsuits, NBC News reported. In one, a former model for The Price is Right said she was fired after she became pregnant. The suit, filed in March 2010, did not list Richards as a defendant, but it alleged he treated the model differently after she announced she was pregnant in 2008.
The case was eventually settled outside of court. In 2011, Lanisha Cole, another Price is Right model, filed a lawsuit. Richards was among the named defendants. However, he was later dropped as a defendant and the suit was settled in 2013, according to the Daily Beast. In a recent note to Jeopardy! Staff, Richards described the lawsuits as employment disputes against The Price is Right. I want you all to know that the way in which my comments and actions have been characterized in these complaints does not reflect the reality of who I am or how we work together on The Price is Right, he wrote. His comments on the podcast stand in stark contrast to his Jeopardy predecessor, the late Alex Trebek, who spent much of his career participating in charitable projects. One of his final acts was helping fund a new homeless shelter in Los Angeles through the Hope of the Valley Rescue Mission. He was deeply grateful to be part of the solution, she added. We both saw the rise of homelessness. Now we have this beautiful bridge house that's being built right now to help people.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.